This is epoxy resin, and this is a fingerboard mold specially designed for making fingerboard wheels. You can pretty much do anything with epoxy resin. And today I'm gonna make custom fingerboard wheels out of resin. I'm sure if you've bought fingerboard parts before, you know how expensive fingerboard wheels are. Despite how small these are, these can be pretty expensive. You've probably looked into how you can make your very own fingerboard wheels just to realize it is a pretty difficult process. Until now. This is a silicone fingerboard mold to make a fingerboard deck and to make fingerboard wheels entirely out of resin. This is a mold that IPE Toys sells, and I'll have a link in the description down below if anybody wants to check it out. You can see on the edges, this is where the wheels are, and then the middle piece is the entire fingerboard. The entire middle part is kind of open, and that's so you can pour the resin in and also get the board out. Look how sick the wheels look. The mold actually comes with resin, so you can pretty much start making fingerboard right out of the box. Because I'm not familiar with this exact product, I'm just gonna use the stuff I'm more familiar with. Time to make fingerboard wheels out of resin. There's an A part and a B part to resin, and right when we start mixing it together, the time starts ticking. I think I messed up a little bit and made way too much resin, but we're gonna find out. The resin is done being mixed, and you can see it turns really cloudy once we mix it. Those are all air bubbles in the resin, which isn't really ideal for casting. I'm gonna separate some of the resin into a different cup and then put it in a vacuum chamber. The vacuum chamber literally pulls the air bubbles right out of the resin, leaving us with a nice clear resin. I accidentally lost quite a bit of the resin in the vacuum chamber just because it overflowed a little bit, but this is all we have left. It's not perfectly clear, but it's quite a bit better. I got the resin into the wheel mold, and I'm just gonna tap it quite a bit just to make sure like no air bubbles are kind of trapped underneath the resin. I'm also just gonna take a lighter and tap the surface, and that's gonna help get the air bubbles out of the resin as well.
Start it up.
As you can kind of see, I put more resin in the wheel mold as we actually need, so now I'm just gonna take a popsicle stick and scrape some of that off the surface. I'm probably not even gonna use the fingerboard that I make with this mold, but we still have a lot more resin, so we may as well pour it in. It's really satisfying watching the resin like flow down like the nose and tail of the board. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's one little air bubble left there. That was actually surprisingly easy. The resin that I used is actually a lot thicker than the resin this came with, which could be a reason why there's so many air bubbles. This resin is like water. If anybody buys this, I recommend using the actual type of resin it comes with. We're gonna wait about 24 hours for this to cure, and then we'll see what we get. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It is now the next day, and this is pretty solid. A lot of the air bubbles made it out of the resin, but there's still a few just on the surface. I'm so excited to peel this out of the mold and just see what it looks like. You guys probably can't see this on camera, but this is extremely satisfying. I don't know what I was expecting to be different, but this is actually so cool. Considering this is just a silicone mold, the shape isn't perfect, but it's not terrible. That looks so cool how the light can just pass right through it. There must have been an air bubble trapped in there that I didn't notice, so there is that little edge to it. But this is pretty cool. This actually has a little bit of flex, and I'm guessing that's just because I didn't wait long enough for the resin to cure. The board is really cool, and I'm actually super excited to see how the wheels turned out. Looking kind of at the silicone, I think a couple air bubbles got trapped just because as the resin kind of cures, more air bubbles kind of form. But I'm sure these will still be pretty cool. No way, dude. That is actually so cool. I just made a fingerboard and a wheel out of resin. I'm actually very surprised that no big air bubbles got trapped in the wheels, so these are actually going to be pretty much perfect. The silicone mold kit also comes with bearings, so we can put these right into the wheels. First way, I'm just going to break off these small little like tails of resin that were left behind. Something I'm wondering about these wheels is how well the bearings actually fit. You want the bearings to sit as tight as possible in the wheel so it doesn't fall out. I actually just realized that the bearings aren't even supposed to fit in these wheels before we drill them out. This kit comes with a whole miniature drill set, and this is what's going to actually drill out the hole for the bearing. This kit also comes with like different bits for this, just so you can kind of like get the wheel nice and clean. I'm just going to use my drill just to make it a little bit easier. I did notice when drilling it out, it was a little bit difficult to get it without like catching the drill bit, and that is probably what these tools are for. I definitely wouldn't consider these wheels high quality at all, but considering you can make them yourself is pretty cool. I'm excited to just see if these worked as wheels pretty much at all. I don't think these will be extremely smooth, but honestly, that's not terrible. These spin pretty straight, but the bearings I can definitely feel are a little bit loose in the wheel. I definitely could have spent a lot more time making these wheels better, but they're definitely all right. It passes the kickflip test, but I don't know if that applies for wheels. These wheels kind of feel similar to when I took Tech Deck wheels and put bearings inside of them. It kind of has like a soft feel and a hard feel both at the same time, and they're not very straight, but they definitely still act like as wheels. I definitely messed up one of these wheels while drilling it because the bearing does not want to stay. I would definitely say the mold is more designed to make decks, and you can also make like different colored decks just by adding like coloring, which is kind of cool. That light going through the board still looks so cool. Kind of does it with the wheels, but not as much. The mold kit to make a resin fingerboard is pretty cool as well, because you don't even need like wood or too much supplies to even make a board. You also don't need to go through all the hassle of sanding and finishing the board. You kind of just pour resin in, wait about a day, and then take it out. About the only downside is this is made out of resin and not wood, so the pop is just going to be a little bit softer, but still kind of cool. Shout out to IP Toys for actually selling this, and I'll have a link in the description if anybody wants to get it. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate everybody watching my videos, and I will see you guys next time.